Hi there. I'm wearing these glasses in honor of Commander O. Is that her name? Commander O. And I just want to give her a shout out. Hello, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Star Trek Picard Season 1, Episode 3 recap review. The end is the beginning. I was a little bit sick last week, so I did not do the podcast. And then I just got busy with work. That will not happen again, I hope. But I should be good for this next episode tomorrow, or even probably tonight. It's 11 o'clock down here in São Paulo, Brazil. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for everyone that's been watching. We almost hit 100 views on the last video, so that's very cool. So that's why I was so upset that I just wasn't able to do the podcast. Um, but yeah, so far, so good for Star Trek Picard. I'm going to do a short video. I did a very long video, guys, just about 5 minutes ago. It was about 35 minutes long. And what happened? I tried to do the same thing I did for the episode 2, where I kind of had clips of, just in the background of the last episode. But guess what? They flagged me for copyright. And I was like, that word. And I almost didn't want to do another one, but here I am because I got nothing better to do. Although I do got to go to sleep at some point. And here, let me take these glasses off. Ooh, it's bright. Very, very bright. So let's talk Star Trek Picard and what's going on so far. I love the show. I think it's moving at a great pace. I think that it's taking its time, but in all the right places to get us from point A to point B. I love the beginning of the episode where you get Picard with Rafi, and he's so good interacting with women. That's his thing. Interaction with women and black women specifically. I think I mentioned that the last podcast or vlog, whatever you want to call this. And it's so true. I mean, he's so good. And I could have watched that beginning scene where they kind of showed how it is that Picard got himself kicked out of Starfleet. It was short, it was sweet, it didn't go over dramatic. It was just like straight to the point. This is what happened. Bing, bang, boom. Wonderful. And it showed a little bit of exposition of why she doesn't trust him. I think there might be some more. I don't know, because she really, really hated him. But that juxtaposed with the scenes of her out in the desert and how she's like, you didn't even call me. You could have called me, motherfucker. That was so heartbreaking. And I love, and I know some people are criticizing this about the show, how they're showing just life on Earth, not just this happy little bubble in space, which was Star Trek for so many years, for however many seasons Star Trek was on. If you count 3 + 4 is 7, 7 × 4 is 28. 28 seasons of Star Trek, where we really had this utopic, view of the future, with perhaps the exception being DS9. But even still, you didn't always get the sense that there were real people, like you and me, real people, out in the 23rd, 22nd, whatever century. You got the sense that everybody in the future was just really exceptional. And you kind of still do in Star Trek Picard, because everybody that's been shown on screen is exceptional, but there are people that are down and out. There are people that lost out. There are people that got screwed over. This is being human too. These are things that humans. I still got my work badge on. You see, these are things that humans do to each other still all the way out there in the future. So I like that aspect of the show. I know it pisses some people off. I don't know why I'm holding myself back from cursing. Everybody knows this is an adult show. By the way, I kind of wanted. No, I don't want that to show up again. That's the Star Trek Picard. Um, the Star Trek Picard logo from the TV show. Give me a second, guys. This is what I want to show up. I want this to accompany me. There you go. Woohoo! Star Trek Picard. There it is. um, but anyway, back to what I was saying is that the show's doing a good job at just being a lot more realistic than Star Trek has ever been, at least. Uh-oh. You don't want to see my slideshows. This is kind of crazy. You know what? You're going to see my beautiful face. That's what you're going to see. Unless they flag me for showing this Star Trek Picard. I just want to open a picture here. Give me a second. Bear with me. You guys know my level of expertise by now. You've seen 2 of my podcasts. You know very well what my level of expertise is. And it's not great. Why can't I just... Why doesn't this just show as a regular picture? Ah, there it is. This is what I'm trying to do, guys. Application window. Picture of Star Trek of Captain Picard. And it doesn't show. Well, that sucks. Anyway, yeah, my life sucks, guys. My life sucks. So, you get to see my beautiful face today. Sorry about that. My name's Phil Ray, by the way, and I'm a master vlogger. So, going back to the episode, we got a lot of stuff going on. We went back to the Borg Cube. In the Borg Cube, we got to see Hugh. We got some metaphysical shit going on with the girl out there called Soji, right? The cybernetic that wasn't destroyed, the sister. And some people are speculating that Daj might come back. I saw this in some of the groups. And I don't know, when Picard had the flashback of the explosion, it kind of seemed like you didn't really see her exploding. So I don't know. I might be in the conspiracy mode. We might see Daj again. And we had this weird scene where they go inside the space inside the Borg cube, where the Romulans that had been assimilated and taken off of assimilation mode were just kind of there and dealing with the neurosis, I guess, I don't know, of leaving the collective. And the oh, this is such a terrible podcast. I'm sorry. Just off my game because of the fact that the computer is not doing what I need the computer to be doing. Let's try this. Might as well just not have done the podcast if it was going to be this bad. Promise tomorrow will be better. No. You know what? Commander O, dedicated to her. I'll put the glasses back on. This shit ain't working. I'm trying to get a nice picture of Picard, but I can't. Anyway, anyway, I give this episode 8 out of 10. That's where I've been with all these episodes. 8.5, 8.3, 8, whatever. I like that it's being realistic. You know, when we get to meet Rios, finally, we get to get the ship's captain. He's a real dude. He likes to drink a little bit of whiskey, I guess. Is that whiskey? Smoke his cigars. I saw criticism. Oh, this is such bad writing. You know, they have to show that he's the bad boy by having him smoke cigar. I smoke fucking cigars. Why can't people smoke cigars in the future? You know, so people, stop complaining so much. Enjoy the show. It's really well written and well acted so far. It's not going to be the Star Trek you remember from 200 years ago. Doesn't have to be. It shouldn't be. Because it's dated, guys. It's dated. I mean, like it or not, as much as, and I'm saying this as somebody that, hey, I love Star Trek. I've been watching it since I was a teeny tiny tot. But it's dated. I mean, I gotta get in a certain mood to watch Star Trek. I watch Star Trek when I'm down and out. Maybe I'm a little depressed. I mean, I watched it when I'm not that way either. But it's like comfort. It's like a comfy blanket because it's formulaic. It's like Law and Order. You know, you get the little teaser at the beginning where the problem is presented. It's another gaseous anomaly. You get the A story, you get the B story, and then little turn at the end, and woohoo, morality tale. 28 seasons. Is that correct? Is my math right? 7 times 4? I'm really bad at math. 28 seasons of this. That's the reason why Star Trek was off the radar for as many years as it was, guys. That's why from 2005 all the way up to 2017, I guess, Discovery premiered, there was no Star Trek on TV because it was the late great, you know, but really the late is what I should emphasize. Great Star Trek. You know, because as much as I love classic Doctor Who and I can watch, I mean, William Hartnett, I can watch season 1 of Doctor Who. But imagine that today. It just doesn't work. Imagine even the great Tom Baker seasons. Doesn't work today. Okay? Um, so Star Trek has to adapt to the times, but also, I think, be ahead of the times. And I think that's what Star Trek's trying to do, and I really appreciate it. And when you're leading the pack, you're not always going to hit the mark. You're not always going to hit the mark. Something's going to be weird, like this fucking Ray-Ban wearing Romulan, and I really believe she's a Romulan. I said that in the other podcast where I mentioned that I would never trust a Romulan inside of Starfleet. Who would do that? So I don't, you know, and then later I saw in the forums people were saying she's a Vulcan. I didn't get any Vulcan vibes from her. I got total Romulan vibes. I think she's a Romulan. But I could be wrong. I just know she looks crappy in those glasses. And again, I don't lick Picard's balls. I'm enjoying the show, but this was corny. Bad choice. Come on, guys. Now, speaking of wardrobe choices, another complaint. Oh, the clothes. I can't believe they're wearing, like, you know, something like this in the far future. Man, I love the wardrobe. I think that it distracts less. I think it's more distracting when we try to get that futuristic, like no longer do people wear bandanas like this. Now, in the future, people wear bandanas like this because it's so more, you know, come on. You know, give me a break. I mean, I like how they try to keep the outfits very modern, very sleek, simple, you know, simple sweaters. I could see that being modernization because that's what we see in the history of fashion is things are less bulky, sometimes just less everything. Uh, but fashion hasn't really changed that much, has it? I mean, since the coming to the Americas, I mean, people kind of wore slacks, cotton shirts. People made shirts out of cotton, and women wore dresses. Sometimes they were kind of big, but then they got kind of smaller. Unless you were like aristocratic and you had all those uh, Victorian age type dresses, like Sense and Sensibility type shit. But fashion hasn't really changed in I'm saying in the basic, like going like I'm comparing dashikis and robes, you know, Greek and Renaissance type dress to pants, shirt, skirt, or dress, and then later the dresses got shorter and shorter. But, only thing that's changed, only thing that changed, maybe sleeved a little bigger in one decade, sleeve a little tighter in the other decade. So, what, 1700 till now? That's almost 400 years of fashion history that we haven't made any radical changes to fashion. I mean, we haven't started wearing shoes on our head or anything like that. So why would it be so much different just, another 400 years into the future? So I think that's such a lame criticism of Star Trek. Please. I love the wardrobe choices. And like I said, it distracts less. I get more distracted when I see this future, and then it doesn't seem real, where everybody's got has to have these crazy hairdos and lapels that go out to here. And that's like Star Trek the Motion Picture, where everybody's wearing pajamas because that's what we'll do in the future, because it was the 70s and people like to sleep naked in silk. Who knows? It's a strange decade. From what I hear, I wasn't alive yet. So I enjoy that about the series, the wardrobe choices. Very nice. Um, the Borg stuff, just loving all that's going on in the Borg cube. Seeing Hugh again, and then getting all metaphysical with that crazy. What's her name? Blah, 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 her name is takes soldiers to see a group of Romulan former drones. One of the reclaimed Romulan declares Soji the destroyer and tries to kill herself. And Soji uses her enhanced powers, but I didn't get the name of I didn't get the name of that specific Romulan. It was a doctor. It was like somebody that Soji wanted to see for whatever reason. And she was giving all metaphysical, playing that little board game, whatever that was, and being able to read the future. And Romulans have a false door in front of the house because people got to come in the back, but is anybody ever allowed in the front? That's the question, because Romulans are all about secrets. And by the way, thank you, Star Trek Picard, for being about the fucking Romulans, because I think they're a race that doesn't get explored as much as they should be in Star Trek. Obviously, we have great episodes with Romulans in DS9 and even TNG, but there's still kind of a mystery. I think they get trumped by the Klingons every time, obviously, because the Klingons are fucking awesome. I love the Klingons. And then later they got trumped by the Borg. So the Romulans just I wish Nemesis had been more about the Romulans. It was cool that they started it off about the Romulans, but then it went to the Remans. So thank you, Star Trek Picard, for being an episode that's gonna give us Romulans, and really let us dig into their culture. What else do I need to say about this episode? I already talked about Rios, the doctor I love. I think she's such a cute actress. Now, there has been some speculation in the forums that she is actually a synthetic. Her name is Agnes. Gerati. Okay, and Dr. Agnes Gerati, and or a spy. I don't know. I hope she isn't. Well, the synthetic I could believe, but I hope she's not a spy. I'd be so sad. But then it starts getting very Blade Runner, right? Who's real, who's not real? Um, I guess they're all real, but who's human, who's not human? So it can get real interesting. Star Trek Picard, and it can start getting into some real deep sci-fi, real deep sci-fi, which I'm pumped about. Uh, because Star Trek, like I said, it's morality tale. Yes, does it go deep sci-fi every once in a while? It does, but for the most part, as great as it is, guys, and again, I love Star Trek, but it's surface level. If you compare it to a show like even The Expanse, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I've never seen Battlestar Galactica, but people that have seen Battlestar Galactica usually say this is deep sci-fi. This is very intricate, like super here there. I'll get around to watching it at some point. But Star Trek is still Star Trek. It's great, you know. It's like the bread and butter. You know, it's the peanut butter and jelly. I don't like peanut butter, but okay, you get the analogy. That it just works. I mean, you can have all the filet mignon, caviar, linguine, whatever, but at the end of the day, ham and cheese sandwich works, and it's the classic, right? So Star Trek, that's what Star Trek is. It's just the classic. It's the fucking classic, and it's deep too, but it's deep on the morality, I think, more than on the sci-fi politics side. You know, DS9 being the exception, but even still, I think Picard has the possibility of going deeper than DS9 did. I don't know. Depends where. I mean, we're only at the beginning. We're not even at the halfway point. It could remain surfacey, adventure, trekking in space. I hope it doesn't. Because so far, I'm loving all the intricacies of it and all the questions it's raising, all the gray areas it's painting in, while still remaining very Star Trek and very positive. And the end of the episode had a cool fight sequence in Picard's house, which I had showed till my video got flagged. But I guess I can't show that. Very well choreographed. I love that they had a bunch of phasers hidden all over the house. These guys were paranoid, man. Even Picard knew where one was, so Picard obviously is paranoid himself. Second Amendment, hey. One wonders if the Constitution of the United States of America is still used and existent. I doubt it because it's just like it's planet Earth now. But cool that you get to keep guns in your house and protect your property. And now we're off, and then at the end we get to see engage. I thought he was going to say make it so, but he went with the engage, and Rios with the no wheel. I thought that was kind of cool. Just kind of touched holographic type wheel, and that's that. This is 23 minutes. Sorry about some of the tech errors. It's because I just had to redo everything, and I just didn't want to spend 10 minutes prepping to make a video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Enjoy the fact that it's 2020 and we got Star Trek on TV. It's good Star Trek, guys. Good, bordering on great, if not already great in some aspects. It's Star Trek for this generation, not for your daddy or your generation, daddies or mommies or your generation. And that's fine. Okay, just like TNG wasn't for, the 1960s generation. It was trying to get new viewers, right? and new viewers had different tastes in 1988 or 89, whenever TNG premiered, than people in the 1960s. I'm sure there's people from the 60s that were like, what is this shit? Right? Why isn't the captain punching people out? But, because it's a different style. It's a different style. And we have a different style now, but it's all good. We get more Star Trek. And we're getting so much Star Trek, I'm almost afraid that we're going to get Star Trek overload. I hope not. But we're getting so much Star Trek that you get to pick and choose. You don't have to like all of Star Trek. Star Trek is different than Doctor Who, my other favorite TV show. In the sense that Doctor Who is all kind of one long story, I guess. But even still with Doctor Who, I mean, you can like one Doctor and not like the other, and then go back. It's just that it's a little bit harder because some of the stuff does connect back. They'll do a, hey, remember when I was that doctor and I did this and that? So it requires a little bit more of kind of dealing with every actor that plays a doctor and liking them, even if you don't like them as much. Every showrunner, after 3-4 years. Whereas Star Trek, no, Star Trek doesn't require that. Star Trek Deep Space Nine takes place in the same universe, but in a place totally removed from where Star Trek Voyager, obviously, is taking place. And from where Star Trek the TNG was taking place. Even though, I mean, yeah, we have Worf come onto the show. We have Picard in the first episode. But beyond that, hey, they're off doing their own thing. They're off Dominion warring. TNG is off Worf and Troy ramming. That was terrible. The 7th season of TNG. Oh my god. And in Star Trek Enterprise, bears no connection to any. I mean, yeah, there's some Easter eggs, but you can watch Star Trek Enterprise and just not care about everything that comes after in the timeline. You can watch TOS. In TOS, really, I mean, that's the mega one that you can just watch and say, screw everything else. Everything else is not Star Trek. I watch TOS and I watch 6 movies with a TOS cast. And that's enough for me, right? So Star Trek is cool because of that, I think. There's a show for everybody. And I love it when I'm in the forums, even if it's a show that I don't think is the best, like Voyager. It's enjoyable. I enjoyed Voyager. But I think it's awesome when somebody says, this is my favorite. And TOS is my least favorite. I'm like, what? Because that's my favorite. But that's the cool thing about Star Trek, is that you have that option. You have the option of thinking Catherine Janeway is the greatest Star Trek captain ever, and she is a badass. I ended up loving Catherine Janeway. But you have that option with Star Trek. And it's not going to take anything away from Captain Kirk or Captain Picard or Captain Sisko or Captain Archer. Nothing at all. And soon, Captain Pike. So with that, guys, I say thank you. Thank you for bearing with me. I did drink a little bit of wine before this podcast. Live long and prosper. That there on the screen, I guess I got to point this way, is not a Vulcan. That's a Romulan. And, what's up with that, guys? That was bad. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. I'll see y'all tomorrow.